Our podcast is a part of the World Podcast Network, now with over 1,000 podcasts. Visit the World Podcast Network at worldpodcast.network to listen to podcasts in over 12 genres. Come vote our podcast episodes up and help us rise on the leaderboard. If you have a podcast of your own, you can join for free. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love day. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing 90 Day Diaries. So, how I think I'm going to do this is because this is like a quick kind of update on everybody. I'm not going to do any podcasts or anything like that in these episodes. Nothing like that. I will just kind of jump into it. There could be times where I'm not going to cover certain people. I'm not going to cover certain episodes just because all the nonsense and kind of thing like that. And I feel we're just regurgitating the same damn thing. So we'll kind of keep you updated on that though. Um, just announcements quickly before we hop in. Patreon available. Go over there and be a part of the fun. We're currently doing Jersey Shore. On the second tier, we're doing third tier, true crime. Again, you can get the other episodes ad free on the first tier, as well as AMAs on the first tier as well, or learn about me episodes. Currently, is what I'm doing. So that's kind of what's going on over there. Tiers start at $3. And then if you want the true crime one, it's $7 a month. Whatever it is, whatever you're interested in getting, that's what we're going to do. Once Jersey Shore is done, which I think we'll be with it till the end of the year. Once Jersey Shore is done, we are going to be moving into something else. So I kind of know what I'm doing, but I'm going to wait on saying what that is. But yeah, that's basically that. The next thing, Sister Wives, coming back very soon on the 20th. So of course we'll be covering that once it starts back up. But otherwise, I think that's it. So let's just jump into 90 Day Diaries, the first episode, and we'll start with Chantel. So I think Chantel got a boob job. I think Chantel got a boob job. We are going to see her do another procedure here in a second, but she got a boob job. And I think they're a little big. I think they're too big for her. Listen, she's beautiful. She has a great body, whatever. I like, the boobs before, when we saw her on Single Life, we're fine. It was perfect. Size, whatever. This is too much. But anyways, let's move on. She tells us that she has like this insecurity that she's never told anyone before. And it's this birthmark that she has that's kind of near um her like pelvic area. Just kind of I think just underneath her belly button into that area. Um, I mean it's different. Um, but I mean it's nothing that should have warranted this. So she explains like anytime she's been intimate with any man or whatever, they'll have sex with her and then they'll kind of ghost her afterwards. She'll never hear from them again. And it's like, okay, that's shallow. As far as I'm concerned, if you're seriously going to, you know, never talk to a person again just because of this very different looking birthmark, like, what? Men, if that's true, men are ridiculous. Men are stupid. I mean, hell, I don't have like a birthmark that looks like that necessarily, but I have a big ass birthmark on my ass. It's not necessarily like the prettiest thing, but it's not something that I name my husband like, oh God. You know what I mean? I mean, I also have like give TMI on this particular situation, but technically I call it a birthmark, but it's technically not. You don't see it necessarily. But in certain situations, and yes, you're gonna see it. Mainly if I'm, being intimate. But I have like what I call a quote unquote birthmark under my boob, but actually it's not a birthmark. It's actually where my nipple was originally growing and then it stopped growing there. But I call it a birthmark. And people know yeah, I haven't told everybody that actually. I think the only person I told that to is actually my current boyfriend. I think he's the only one that knows that. But again, they are birthmarks. Like they are marks from birth. It's not the end of the world. Men are stupid. Anywho's. She then kind of goes into this thing about Pedro and the fact that he cried the first time they had sex, and she is now wondering in her mind because she has to doubt everything about her relationship with Pedro at this point, which is so not healthy. Anyways, that he maybe was crying because of the birthmark, that he's crying about this as the person that he's going to be having sex with or whatever. I think that is so far off left field. I really do. How about he's crying because he's seeing a woman naked for the first time, or he's finally having sex for the first time? You know, not that he's crying about your body. Man, he married you. Okay, he chose to marry you, and you guys were married for 7 years. He, from what we understand, was consistently having sex with you, the amount of times throughout your relationship up until the last year or so of your marriage, or even not even so much that, the last 6 months, let's say, call it, of their marriage, like them being actually married, got separated. That's a long time. And it's amazing to me how forgetful we can become when it comes to being let down by somebody. And it's human nature, but it takes, I think, a strong mind to break yourself out of that and be like, okay, well, no, wait, that doesn't make sense. Or no, wait, that doesn't make sense. And unfortunately, this woman has a mother who is deplorable. I really, truly forgot how deplorable she can be until I was um kind of watching Reality Gaze's journey through Family Chantel, and I forgot how deplorable this woman was. We'll save that until I decide to cover it. So the season that ever did. Anyways, enough of that. Um, so she says like she would do makeup to cover it up. So that's how she was able to wear bikinis and no one knew. So she's now deciding maybe this will be the last time. We actually see her doing it too. This last time we'll be doing the makeup because she's gonna get it surgically removed. So now we see Karen, and listen, she says, when I heard that Chantel was going to get rid of it, um, I just got so. And what'd she say? Whatever she said it in Spanish, with a Spanish accent. Pedro is not even a part of this family anymore, and we still speaking in Spanish. This woman is the worst. Seriously. Like, you can't just speak English? You're okay. Um, I also don't like that she's blonde. I think she looks freaking ridiculous. Um, so that's basically that. But anyways, Kira says she's sad about her wanting to get rid of the birthmark. Ma'am, not your problem anymore. She's allowed to do what she wants to do. Just what she wants to do. Because she says it looks like a bunny. And as you grew up, it started to look like a rabbit. And rabbits are cute. Okay? I mean, it kind of does. You can see the bunny ears. but it's like she doesn't want the stupid thing anymore. So your feelings towards something no longer exists, no longer matters. But of course, to Karen, it's all about her. Anyways, so basically, yeah, she drives wherever she has to go to get the surgery done, to do it all, blah, blah, blah. We get to see the joys of seeing the surgery happen. Great. Then after that, and 3 weeks later, we see her birthmark is gone. She's happy. Whatever. Great. That's that. Um, that's it for Chantel. For hopefully that's it. But maybe we'll see her again. Who knows? Okay, let's do Robert and Annie. So just gonna say trigger warning. We are gonna be discussing the passing of their son. It's really hard. I cried seeing the photos. It's so yeah, we're sandwiching it between the funnies. So, you know, hopefully will help a little bit. So the first thing that kind of happens is their daughter knocking over the camera. It's so cute though. Yeah, anyways. So we kind of are getting introduced to them again. Robert says he's 47. Whoa, how time has flown. And she's like, I'm 25. Because y'all don't need to know how old I am. Y'all don't need to know my actual age. She's 37. Y'all don't need to know. So he has 6 kids. I guess 6 kids in total because I thought he had 6 kids when he met her. To be totally honest with you. I thought this man had 6 kids when he met her. What is happening? Apparently, that's incorrect. He has 6 kids in total. 4 of them are adults. And then, hold on, wait, hold on. That made no sense. Because he was saying he has 6 kids. 4 of them are adults. That only then leaves the two, but maybe this is just Robert's dirty things. I don't know. But wouldn't he just have 7, even though one is no longer on this mortal plane? I'm just, that's just, you know what? Forget. This is his story. 6 kids, 4 adults, and then, yeah. So, Bryson, little baby Bryson is no longer a baby. He is 9. Insane. Where's time gone? Anyway, Robert's apparently, according to Annie, after this baby has come, because she's pregnant in this, she's already been kind of telling him, you have to get a vasectomy or you're going to be single. It's like, I'm not getting no damn vasectomy. I'm not getting no vasectomy. I'm no plan on getting a vasectomy. I came into the world with balls. I'm going to come out of the world with balls. So you're still going to have your goddamn balls. Okay? There's not going to be anything happening inside said balls, but you're going to have your balls. You didn't wait. You didn't come to this earth with sperm in your balls. Okay? So you don't need sperm coming out the world. I'm just saying. Like, I'm just, men. Okay, I'm sorry. Because I've had this conversation. No, you don't. Men have the right as well as women do with how they wanna have full autonomy over their bodies, and I understand that's fine. But men, do you want to continue having more babies? Because I've had the exact same conversation with my partner that once I'm done, I am done. Okay? Y'all try convincing a man, trust me, it's not gonna happen. They need to start wearing condoms again since you're not going to. And particularly, like, I don't want to either. So the best solution is vasectomy. There is less recovery time for you, man, to have a vasectomy than it is for me to get opened up and tubes tied. Now, if I had to have a C-section and you're already in there, go ahead. Like, if I'm not, what's the big deal? I just, whatever. Anyways, that's that. So anyways, Annie says we have a gender review later. Not wait, now I don't even know if I'm saying the right thing. Gender reveal. So she wants, they're having a review We're gonna be reviewing the gender and seeing if that works out for them. I love her. I'm not making fun of her. I am. I love her. So, anyways, they kind of this is where we kind of got into the tough stuff. Robert says, the baby is a blessing, of course, but things have been really tough for them for the past couple of years. So, kind of as we know, they have their son, and unfortunately, and I didn't quite catch the name of the disease that um he had. I don't want to get it incorrect, but he was diagnosed at birth with this genetic disease, very rare genetic disease, and he only lived for 7 months. And apparently, he was in the hospital for quite some time prior to his death. Um, what broke my heart was obviously seeing the photos of them and seeing his cute little face. He's so cute. And mm. I just I was saying to my mom watching this is like, I don't understand a God who would allow these sweet babies and children to not be able to have a life, a long and just fulfilling life. Oh, anyways, she broke my heart here too. And she's like, you know, he had a sick heart and mm, just so unfair. And that's exactly what Robert says at one point is it's just unfair, simple, unfair. Um, we do hear though that he doesn't like to see the inside of the baby's closet. Um, and they have everything. Um, still there in his room as if he's still gonna use it. They haven't touched anything and nothing. Um, and he says that he doesn't want to talk about it. And I think it leaves her in probably a weird situation where she's in a place where she does want to talk about it. She does want to talk about what happened. She wants to talk about their baby. She wants to do all of those things, but he doesn't. And that can feel very lonely because she doesn't have anyone else that she can talk to. Um, or at least anyone that maybe can understand it the same way as they can. And yeah, that can feel very lonely at times. And I also going here, it's not, I mean, everyone grieves in their own way. I will never understand, and I hope I never understand what it is like to lose a child at any age, but especially an infant or, yeah, an infant. Um, and so I don't want to judge his journey through grief, and I'm not going to. What I am going to say is, I hope he can get to a place where he can talk about it, talk about him, um, not just for his own memory, which Annie says she worries. She's getting emotional here too, and that she worries that, like, I don't want him to think we forgot about him. I don't want him to think we don't love him or we don't miss him. That he wasn't important, basically. Besides that, though, I want him to be able to work through because of the reason he can't talk about it or talk about him or maybe go into the room or look at things without it, you know, obviously making him uncomfortable is he hasn't dealt through the grief. And that can just eat you alive. And that's what I worry more about. Um, I really hope he can get there, but what we didn't know, if we did, I don't remember. Maybe we just got really clouded with their son, but the news of their son, but it was he not only lost his son, but he lost his mom and his brother before losing his son. And I don't know at which times that happened prior to. That is devastating. This man is really going through it. I hope he's able to get the help that he needs to help him work through it. Um, yeah, uh, yeah. Um, the other thing basically that happens is she did go to the doctor. They know the gender. And I can't remember what it was that they had. I know she said the baby now, but I couldn't remember what it was that they had. And um, they do the gender review, and um, it's a boy. And I remember after they said it was a boy, I'm like, oh, that's right. And I remember thinking that, and I thought it here too, was what a blessing it must feel to know you're having a boy, but also I hope they didn't. But I can only imagine maybe for others, or maybe they went through it too, the internal struggle of we're having another boy, and I don't want him to think we're replacing him. So it's yeah, I hope they were able to work through that if they ever thought they had. Um, so yeah, um, I really truly, not Sean Robinson style, really truly do wish them the best, and I hope that they're doing okay. Um, yeah. So that's it for Robert and Annie. We then end off with a happy sandwich of Jenny and Sumit. So first of all, we see him or her technically showing us around new apartment. They got a new apartment, y'all, in a gated community. Everything that you could possibly want is within the gated community. Grocery store, clothing stores, blah, blah, blah. Grocery stores, everything is there right in between the gated community. Maybe they speak English, and it makes it a little easier for her. Maybe she doesn't have to barter as heavily as if she was somewhere else. Who knows? Anyways, the biggest issue though is Samir lost his job and he's trying to find a new job. He has been calling around, you know. The problem is that he wants a chef job, and a lot of the chef jobs want him to have training as well as experience not only cooking Indian food but all types of foods. So he doesn't have that. He's not trained and he doesn't have experience cooking other cuisines. So it's going to posing a little bit of a difficulty for him to get work. Now, this isn't news. We already knew all of this already. But the fact that Jenny and his mom are best of friends, we're the best of friends. Do, do, do. While we're going clothes shopping. Seriously, these guys were best of friends. Best of friends. It is the weirdest thing. And he says, we don't understand each other fully, but maybe that's for the best. I think it's for the best. But yeah, they're hanging out. They're going to the mall. The mall is really cool too. They're just having a grand old time. It's amazing. I mean, 2 seconds ago, my woman wanted to, you know, she was threatening to do bad things to herself um, if they got married. Now they're just hanging out at the mall. Anyways, um, and then the next thing that kind of happens here is with Submit struggling to find work, he suggests to Jenny, maybe Jenny, you at 65, Moa, could Chicken Jenny needs to go and find a job. I don't know what kind of job she needs to do. Maybe she needs to lay some eggs so they could sell the eggs. But Chicken Jenny needs to find a job. And Chicken Jenny doesn't want to. She wants to not work anymore. I mean, she shouldn't have to. On like the one hand, she's 65 years old. But on the other hand, you are 65 years old and you married a 36-year-old man or whatever age she was at the time. Well, they she's been there 5 years. Okay, so yeah, you married a man in early 30s who may at times not be able to hold down and keep a job. So then in those cases, you need to step in, Chicken Jenny, and do some work. And his mom is in agreement because mom's here for the ride. Okay. She's here for the conversation on the fact that he can't find work. And she says, maybe you should get a job. Jenny, you better go get a damn job or she's not gonna like you again. The other thing too is his sister-in-law actually started her own marketing business. That's amazing. And she's offered him a job. However, the job is an internship and he might be able to make about 15 thousand rupees, which is not a lot. It's about 200 US, which is not enough to cover rent. So here's what I propose. I think, because I think doing something like marketing is a really great idea, something to really step into and see if you can thrive in, especially now that's family as well, and maybe that could be a good stepping stone. Why not, have him do that and let Chicken Jenny pick up the slack for a time while he's doing this internship? Like, you know what I mean? It would better him in the long run, better that in the long run. So they can stay in this really nice apartment. But I don't know. I guess we'll get more information on that later because I think we're getting more on them later. But anyways, that is it for this episode of Silver Diaries. Um, yeah, yeah, it's a wrap. Um, I don't know what's coming next. Maybe Resort. Because I think I have my notes for Resort. All that I'm ready to go. So we'll do that. But yeah, that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps, every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, dot podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information It is overwhelming. We do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.